What's up, everybody? Welcome back to a brand new season, 2021 of the Fantasy Goods, and we're here to give you our best advice we got for you. In this first episode, we're going to be going down some of the new rules in the NFL and the new situations you might be encountering, so stay tuned because it's coming up next. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Fantasy Goods. This is our first episode of 2021. I'm Josh Lipinski-McHale. This is Benjamin Barcelona. And this is my boy Adam Dobies. We are the Fantasy Goods. If you watched us last season, thank you for all your support. Remember, tell your friends to like and subscribe because we've got a bunch more content coming out to you this season. All right, so right now, I said we're going to get into brand new situations you might face in fantasy this year. And off the bat, it's got to be that they added another week to the season, guys.
Yeah.
Another one.
So, what are you going to do with that extra game? Traditionally,
Extra week of football! Yeah, that's exactly what I'm going to do, right? I'm going to sit there and watch another week of football.
It's great from a viewer perspective, but what do you do with it fantasy perspective? So, my question to you is, do you run it like how you used to, where it's playoffs are week 14, 15, and then the 16th week is the championships, and then you bypass that week 17 because you know stars are most likely to be sat? Or do you run it the new way where you don't think that last week is going to matter as much, and you run it week 15, 16, and 17, and then you think stars are going to sit week 18, rather than what I think, where I think the last 2 weeks are going to be troublesome for all fantasy players?
I don't think so.
What do you think, Ben?
I'm telling you right now, like, I would do the 15, 16, 17. I give fantasy an extra week because just like in the NFL, fantasy, it matters too.
Yeah.
Playoffs matter in fantasy also. So giving that extra week definitely helps. And I can't see them sitting starters for 2 weeks. Like, it's regardless of what people think, it's going to be a very competitive year this year.
I agree, but at the same time, I feel like if you're in the playoffs already, maybe not completely sit them week 17, but like you're gonna week 18, but maybe give them less reps, and then that is pretty crucial for a fantasy championship, is what I'm thinking. And I don't know if as a league manager, because I'm supposed to be the commissioner this year, if I want to risk the unknown like that on a championship that me and my boys have been together doing for years now.
But what happens if you?
My point is, your stars are always gonna play. Like, they're not gonna sit players like Christian McCaffrey just because we're fantasy solidified and we have this extra week, so let's sit them. No, they're going to run them. Maybe not as much, but they're still going to run them. You got to start that.
But but it's been common for teams to sit their fantasy players on that last
week.
Whole game.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I was saying. The last week.
But if now that there's an extra week, if you're already in the playoffs, why wouldn't you sit them or play them?
Because there's going to be a lot of it's going to be competitive.
There's
going to be a lot of teams that are tied. You're going to see 12-4. You're going to see fucking 10-6. You're going to see a lot of that.
Let's break this down to a simple yes or no. Do you risk your fantasy championships on the unknown of what's going to happen week 17, or do you play it week 16 like you've always known?
I want to play it. I want to give everybody else a shot to play it, because if it's going to affect me, it's going to affect everybody else.
All right. And what about you?
And that's what
I agree. You play your players. That's it.
You play to win the game. You play to win the game.
All right. Well, they think try the unknown.
But even the studs that are out there, like your must starts, they're still going to be on the field that day.
Yeah.
They're not going to be benched the whole time.
Yeah.
And if they're a stud like they should be, like the numbers that they should put up, even at like a bench percentage, they're still going to put up numbers for you.
You'd want to play.
It's somebody you don't sit on your bench. Period.
Yeah. It's going to be too tight to say that, should you stop at week 17 or you should stop at week 16 still. Like,
granted, it's a strange factor and like the unpredictable can happen, and obviously it's the first time this has gone on.
I mean,
there's nothing we can really base this off of.
That's why I'm saying.
I know, but like I really my full on go is just start them. You got them, you start them.
But my idea of thinking is you don't see how it goes. Play how you usually play. Make week 17 the championship. If anything, it makes week 17 better because if it goes the way you guys are saying, everyone's going to start. They're not going to be playing less.
17 is interesting.
The way I look at it, it's one more week of fantasy football, and I live and breathe this shit. So yeah, I'm gonna fucking take advantage of it.
Yeah. So if anything, I'm actually pretty amped that there's another week of football.
Yeah. No. Overall, I mean, that's the way we guys see it. You guys got to make your own decision in your leagues, but you're going to have to deal with an extra week and decide on what to do with it.
Yeah.
All right? So we got other situations that you're going to encounter this season, not just the 17-game season, but now there's a new issue out with COVID-19. Yep, we're not done with it yet, guys. There's a new rule put out by the NFL saying that if you have unvaccinated players and your team has an outbreak, that you are forfeit to forfeiture of that game, which doesn't just affect the team making the forfeit, but the other side in terms of fantasy, because neither guys are going to put up points. So, I mean, what do you guys think? Is this going to be a big deal this year or not that big of a deal?
That will be a big deal because you're going to end up having that goose egg on the bench just literally out of nowhere. You're going to have to pay close attention to these players and how they stand and whatever gets released through the media. You're not going to know until like the day of or the next day, so you got to pay attention to this. Because I know last year there's been a number of people in our leagues that have goose eggs sitting on their bench because of COVID.
Yeah, there were a couple last year for sure. What about you, Ben?
All I have to say is it's going to be kind of a big deal, and make sure
kind of a big deal
that you have your IR spots. Make at least bring it up to your league. I'm not going to tell you how to run your fantasy football league, but in my league, I put IR spots just in case, because those COVID-19 things go out of nowhere.
It's a must.
And you never know; it could be anybody that drops out of nowhere.
Yeah,
so
and there was a COVID-19 spot out last season, and that we used it in our league, and that stuff that worked pretty well because there were quite a few.
It helped a lot. Just two. All we needed was two. And
it's
helped out a lot.
Just to make it fair, because that's crazy that someone could just drop out like that just because they tested positive and they're not playing this week, and you're like, I literally have no one else to play. Like, I don't have another quarterback on my bench.
It also helps the wire too.
But it's a big
work
deal.
The wire too,
Gotta pay attention to it.
You're saying
wire's key.
You're saying another season of The Wire?
When you walk through the garden.
So what you're saying is it's going to be a big deal. What you're saying is it's definitely a big deal. I agree. It's going to be a big deal this season, and you're going to have to encounter it at least once or twice this year. Because I know I did once or twice last year.
Take what you got from last season and how you draft, and make sure that bench is stacked, and learn how to work that wire.
Yeah,
it's still a prevalent thing.
You're not just gonna have to know what a player's opinion on it is. You're gonna have to pay attention in the media to what team they're on, because that whole team is affected by that man's opinion.
Could be.
So we'll see how big of a deal.
If you're like Josh, he drafted all of Tampa Bay last season, pretty much.
So
let's say Tampa Bay forfeits. Josh is putting up, a solid 15 points at the end of the week.
Yeah, I mean it can happen, guys. So just pay attention to that. You're gonna have to see how it develops. This is all new stuff to us. But moving on to our next thing is going to be big injuries that have happened even up to this early point in the year. And right off the bat, I got to talk with the big quarterback name. Carson Wentz is going to be out indefinitely right now with a foot injury.
At least till the preseason.
Yeah, I'm going to say they're saying the preseason, but if he is eligible, I guess, for foot surgery, depending on how his recovery goes, so he could be out even longer. So, I mean, this guy's got an injury history, right, guys? I mean, Carson Wentz always seems to be injured, even on the Eagles. I'm sure that's why they gave up on him.
Yeah. I have no idea what they're going to do with Carson Wentz out. Who is it back up again?
Right now, it's between a rookie, Eason, and Ellinger.
Yeah.
Well, Eason is a second-year guy. Ellinger's the rookie.
See, it all depends. We just got to know the story. I mean, I don't recommend drafting Carson Wentz. I don't recommend picking up anybody on the Colts at quarterback because...
Yeah.
Maybe that Jonathan Taylor, maybe that stock goes up because Carson Wentz is out.
Definitely.
Nakeem Hines too. A lot of short passes. I can see his stock going up also. But yeah, man, Carson Wentz going out, I think it's going to hurt that Colts team, and
for sure.
And honestly, I don't know who they would maybe trade for. You never know.
I mean, short of knowing exactly the type of injury he's got on his foot, and whatever kind of extent and news that comes out. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't see them going and trading for another quarterback. I see them going with whatever they got and put more faith in their running game. Because Taylor and Hines.
All right. So I got
the ball, short passes. You're not expecting much from these quarterbacks. You made it to the pros. You could throw a nice little short pass to these running backs. They know what they're doing. So
All right,
I
so
have faith in that. That's why
I
I
have
see
a
it going.
question then.
But as of
like you
right-
said, don't draft the Colts quarterbacks because you don't know who the fuck.
Obviously, but as of right now, it's only the preseason. Like he could be back week 1. We just don't know.
could
yet.
be.
Exactly. That's
But
why
they're
I'm
also
saying I don't
it
see
could
anything
be-
happening.
It could be as bad as midseason if he has to go for the surgery. So I got a question for you guys right here. If Carson Wentz is out long term, do you think the Colts make a trade, and who do you think they make a trade with? What do you think, Al?
I don't think they're going to make a trade. Period.
All right.
Even midseason. I feel like they're going to stick with their rookie or their sophomore quarterback.
Yeah.
And heavy run game, and that's what they're going to handle.
Okay. All right. So you're saying they stick with Eason or El here. I think it's El here from Texas,
Well,
rookie.
Either
Yeah.
one of them. I feel like they're going to stick with him. Heavy run game, short passes.
Because Carson.
I mean,
will be
they're
back.
like
That's how you feel.
Carson will be back eventually. They're not going to put up anything there. They don't have much to trade off.
They could. They got picks. I mean, but we'll see.
If you want to like lessen your team for a quarterback that's going to come back mid-season or even next season,
Well,
what are you gonna do there? I mean,
It's if you want your team to win now, because I don't know if they could win with Eller and
they're not going to.
and Eaton.
The Colts aren't going nowhere.
You never know.
What do you think, Ben? Who do you think? Do you think they're going to trade with anyone?
Because they paid Carson Wentz all that money, I don't think they're going to trade for anybody. But if they tend to get desperate and they think they got this all-star team, if they were going to trade for somebody, it would either, in my opinion, probably be either Taysom Hill or James Winston, whichever one doesn't start.
Okay.
I like Taysom Hill. I know you're a fan of James Winston this
I
year.
am this year. Yeah. Guy looks in shape.
I could see them trading for one of those guys. Maybe the Saints would like to if they found their solid quarterback that they want to go with.
That's interesting.
You know, I could see that happening. Taysom Hill, by the way, Swiss Army knife. I love him.
Yeah.
I like Taysom Hill.
I don't know if you know the Saints, like they love that 2 quarterback system. I mean, I can't see them getting rid of either
Well,
one.
the reason why they got it is because they got Taysom Hill and they had Drew Brees.
Yeah. No, they never had it before Taysom.
Yeah.
Taysom made that.
But it
Army
made it
knife
work. I know we're
situation.
talking Breeze here as part of that 2 quarterback system that I'm talking about now.
But Breeze is gone. That's what I'm saying. So you
Yeah.
think that they're going to continue to run the same thing? I think they stick with Jameis personally, but
I know because you like the younger guys. You know, Tamis
Well, that's
Hill. You like the younger guys. You know, but Hill's only 30 years old. He's 30 years old.
he's 30. Yeah,
30 years old.
That's old for a quarterback to be starting in the league.
He said you like the younger guys.
Anyway, all right. So I don't know if they're going to trade for Carson Wentz, and I think they do if he's out long term. If he's back by week 2 or 3, sure, maybe they wait it out. But if he's out to the midpoint of the season, I think they go out and make some kind of trade with some picks or whatever. And I think they go to the 49ers, who have Jimmy Garoppolo there, and I know they spent the 4th overall pick on Trey Lance. I think Trey Lance, that would give him the opportunity to start, them to recoup something back from that trade that they made to get Garoppolo and him not panning out. I think that works out well.
Do you think the Garoppolo is going to last the whole season with the 49ers?
No, absolutely not. I
So
think
you
Trey
think
Lance
they're gonna
definitely
put Trey
picks
Lance
up.
in?
Oh, for sure.
What week?
No later than week 5.
Really?
No later than week 5.
So you gave up on Garoppolo?
Yes.
Damn.
Yes, I have. Sorry, Jimmy G. I
don't know.
Porn star Jimmy ain't for me.
I can see Jimmy G playing the whole season. Trey Lance getting a year in experience.
I mean, it's not
play
the
that
first
extra
time.
week we've been talking about.
Yeah, it's
Yeah,
not the first time.
the extra week
It's not the
helps,
first
bro.
time we've seen a couple quarterbacks like maybe held back. I just don't see it happening there. Like Jimmy G's been injured. It really hasn't panned out. They obviously are ready to move on to the future. If they could get something back for Jimmy G, why wouldn't you make that trade? Because you're gonna let him walk anyway because you're already drafted someone who you think is your future with a top 5 pick.
We'll see.
We'll see. All right. Well, you just never know. But we're going to have to wait and see. That's it, guys. But I'm going to give this next segment to Ben because I've just been talking way too much. So, Ben, this is your idea. What do you got?
Let me ask you guys something. If you had to reach for somebody in the draft, who would it be? If you had to reach.
So anywhere in the draft, any line
Any
of the
draft,
draft,
anywhere you think is a
anywhere.
reach.
Okay.
Anywhere where you...
Tell me what player, what round.
Anyway, it's above his ADP.
I feel like I'd reach for Randall Cobb, and I feel like I'd get him around maybe the 9th pick, Randall Cobb, and it's a reach for it.
Yeah, it is. You're right. That is a
That's
reach.
a fucking reach and a half. You know what?
I think you can get him in your 14th
All
or
right.
15th round.
Aaron Rodgers essentially demanded this man come back to him. I feel like he's going to be a major target. you got someone like Devontae Adams on the other side of that.
They've been searching for that number 2 forever.
So your obvious cover, we must cover Adams. Duh.
Absolutely.
And he deserves the money he's asking for, by the way. He's going to get covered. Who's going to be the other go-tos? You got Tanyan, but Cobb, the man Rodgers wanted back.
True. That's
someone I'm going to reach for. Whether it's a stash on the bench, or my flex, or even my third if I was drafting like that.
I feel like it ruins Tanyan's value with Cobb coming back, though, as a tight end.
I wasn't trying to get into it. I'm just saying, Cobb's someone I'd reach for, and he's going to get his targets because Adams is obviously going to be the go-to cover.
Yeah.
And that's going to be. I feel like it's going to be a favorite.
So you would reach for Cobb.
I'd reach for Cobb.
All right, Josh. What about you?
I wouldn't reach for Cobb. I mean, look, you may think that he's going to be, but has there ever been another real number 2 in Green Bay? It's always just Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers.
Cobb
had a couple good seasons last year when he came back there, or when he was there rather, before he went to the Texans. But I mean, it wasn't a fantastic season. Maybe he'll finish as flex-worthy wide receiver 3 at best. But I wouldn't reach for him. Maybe
definitely has flex appeal.
Yeah, maybe 13th, 14th round. Sure, 9th. That's a reach. But if
that's what the segment's about, dumbass.
I know.
Yeah.
If I was gonna reach, it'd have to be for somebody that's gonna put up the fucking most points, or possibly the most points in the league. So it has to be somebody that has big ceiling, and it's got to be a quarterback because they always score the most points. So I would take a reach for a guy I liked last season, and I like even more this season, Kyler Murray. All right, he's finished a top 7 cornerback last year. I think he continues to improve. And he now has A.J. Green there. He's still got DeAndre Hopkins there. Now he's got James Conner there who can catch out of the backfield, seeing how that situation goes between him and Edmonds. I like Kyler Murray to continue improving and be a top 3 quarterback. And if I can get him as early as maybe the 4th round, I'd get him.
4th round Kyler Murray.
Before 5th round quarterback. So, and look, I know he thinks that quarterbacks earlier are stupid.
That's a reach.
But the quarterbacks put up the most points. Why wouldn't you reach? Ben, what do you think?
I'm going to tell you right now what I think. And you don't fucking reach. You don't reach in the draft. Okay? Yeah, okay, you really want this guy. It don't matter. You don't reach in the draft. That's how you ruin the draft order. That's how you ruin your team. You know, you're looking like, yeah, I really want DK Metcalf, but I got him in the 2nd round. Come on, man. You don't need to do that. Yeah, you don't reach. You know, I get it if you have opinions about a player and you strongly want that player, but there's no need to go out of your ADP and reach for a player because you just want them. You know, wait for him to fall. You know, if you don't think you can get him the round before, there's no reason to jump 2 rounds for the guy that you can get 2-3 rounds later. There's no point. No point.
Well, I mean, situationally dependent. If you guys like to reach a little bit, but Ben don't.
Nah.
I have.
But this is the 3-time champ coming out, baby. That's how you do it.
We're bringing that out this early in the season.
This is the only time to bring it out.
You act like us doing this, it wouldn't come up.
Yeah.
Oh my God!
I'm just glad you didn't bring the belt today.
I expect.
Oh man, you'll see the belt. I promise you'll see the belt.
I expect this BS every
nice
episode.
shiny belt.
That's
with the hammer on my shoulder.
That's what you got from us, guys. A couple players me and I will reach for. Ben won't. But that'll do it for this episode of the Fantasy Goods. Thank you for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, check us out on Facebook, Instagram, TikTok now,
TikTok,
and Twitter.
baby, we're getting TikTok ready.
Yeah, man.
Get watching.
We're coming at you, bringing content to you as often as we can this season. So tune in. This is the Fantasy Goods, and we got the goods.
Boom.